Okay. Now that I'm recording, just to put out, if well, the 10 people that are hearing this on Patreon, if you have previously watched all of the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone, tell us. You will by the end of this, but you will have
Yeah.
an English teacher. But yeah. Oh, also fun. I woke up this morning. I slept in a little late. I got up. I'm sitting down. I'm looking at my phone for a message about a Sunday podcast. Oh, he hasn't answered yet. I was like, wait a minute, I'm podcasting in 30 minutes. I was about to go take a walk. So it's the start of my
Oh,
vacation. So I'm in vacation brain.
oh, yeah, I completely understand me as well. Uh, mentally I checked out at the start of December. So it's been a little bit of a struggle, and now that we're going into the new year, yeah, we have completely effed off.
Although I did work, I work on, I live in Japan, so I work on Christmas. But although I did have to dress up as Santa and give kids little candy presents. So I did
Oh,
Christmas
yeah?
stuff. I played Christmas carols on a guitar, but I was working.
But at least you got to have some fun.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. It was a more slack work day, so that's nice. But
Yeah.
still had to go to
I
work
mean, if
though.
you've got to work, you might as well have a good time doing it.
Yeah. But yesterday was my last day for me. This is fun. I
All
found. Do you know
right.
Gloomy Bear?
I do not know about Gloomy Bear.
Okay, I don't have the really fun one to show you. I found a Gloomy Bear gachapon yesterday. This is clean Gloomy Bear. If you look at his hand, you can
Okay.
see some terrifying claws. This is the
Oh,
clean one.
yes.
Which is good because can use this with kids. The other version you can get is his mouth and claws are covered in blood because he's Gloomy Bear and
Oh
he
boy.
he eats
Is he
people.
Murder Bear as well?
He kind of is Murder Bear. The fourth one is a terrified looking kid or something, like a kind of joke, like like there were four you could get. I got baby one. This is the baby one. He looks a little different. After I
Okay.
bought two, I was like, I can't put more money into this thing. So
Are these like, is this a big thing in Japan?
yeah, Gachapon and crane machines. I don't
Okay.
crane machines I find annoying because if I put money into the thing, I want something. But I do like
And there's
Gachapon
no
or
guarantee.
Gachapon are the pod machines, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna get something. I don't know what I'm gonna get. So that's the extent of gambling I want to do. So, but
Yeah.
and I have a thing where it has to be something fluffy. If it's not fluffy, I'm not putting money in. And 95% of the machines have like figures or keychains or something. So that keeps my
Hmm.
addiction to a minimum. It has to be fluffy for me to put money in.
So there's a qualification list.
Yes. What
It's good
else?
to
Like
have rules.
we found some Moomin ones we liked. Sesame Street. I got everyone but Elmo, and that's fine because I don't
Oh,
like
hey.
Elmo.
Yeah,
I'm
everybody
I'm
loves Elmo.
I'm exactly the age where I don't like Elmo because Elmo came on I think 1986 when I was about 6 years old, and that's right when you're like, "Ooh, Sesame Street's stupid," and then Elmo shows up, and you're like, "Ugh." So I have like this knee-jerk hatred towards Elmo.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I've ever known anybody who had like th at that age hatred toward Elmo. Like in your teenage years, yeah. I was of the age where everybody hated on Barney in its heyday in the 90s. So
Right.
I kind of like had my version of that, but I don't know if I've known an Elmo hater.
Also, as a child,
So
I noticed that Elmo being on the show kind of pushed Grover out of the show, so that was a big problem for
it's
me.
true because they were both kind of furry and cute, and everybody fell in love with Elmo, and then just Grover gets pushed to the side.
A much more proper Muppet. Okay.
This also sounds like a podcast topic, just saying.
Yeah. I'm getting into the gachapons. That's why I'm doing this Patreon content. At least it's fun. Uh, well, before we get into the episode proper, how was your Christmas?
It was good. It was fairly quiet here, which I kind of like because no drama that way. And yeah, it was mostly like my husband and I just hanging out in our pajamas all day and enjoying our presents that we gave to each other and made a little feast of food. We made Christmas Day chili because it was really rainy here, and it was a lovely day. How about you?
Did the work, but do you know the Japanese Christmas dinner?
I do not. Tell me.
We did not have this specifically, but it's chocolate cake, Christmas cake, not cookies.
Okay.
And then Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh,
The
okay.
marketing campaign about 30 years ago was so successful, everyone in Japan thinks fried chicken is what you eat for Christmas. So
And that is what you all eat for Christmas over
yeah,
there then.
my family, we don't like KFC. Sorry, KFC. So they got it from the supermarket because everyone's in on it now. Like you'll go to convenience stores, they're selling chicken for Christmas. 7-Eleven had sale
Interesting.
chicken for a few days. It was great. But yeah,
Huh.
that's so we do the quizzes with kids, and it's like, which of these, like it all that question they always get wrong. They're just it's fried chicken. It's like no, just Japan.
Yeah, sorry, that is just a Japan thing as far as I know.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
don't know anybody who does fried chicken over here. I mean, it kind of varies anymore. It used to be, oh, traditional Christmas dinner with a turkey or a ham, but not necessarily anymore.
yeah, I guess the last time I did a Christmas dinner in the States was 2009. It's been a while. I've
Little
worked
while,
most
little while.
Christmases since then.
Yeah,
Uh,
hey,
I guess we'll do a show. Give me like a 5-second pause and I will start up things. Hello, welcome to Time Enough Podcast, where we roll through all of the episodes of the Twilight Zone and beyond. As always, this is Matt here. Coming back is Charlynn from Mission Log. Prodigy, what do you do with the Prodigy? Yes. You're on the
I
live.
mean,
You're on
I
lots of
did
this stuff.
Prodigy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not new stuff coming down the pipes, so it's just kind of what's there is there. But in the meantime, I've been doing some Mission Log Live, and maybe I'll come back for some Starfleet Academy. I don't really know yet. That is on the horizon for us as of when we're recording this. And I do things like Star Trek and Chill on Friday nights with the virtual TrekCon folks, and I'm a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, just trying to make sure my introduction is somewhat, time stamped properly. But I don't know, people could be listening to this in 10 years when you're
Oh,
doing like some completely wildly different podcast. Sorry, ooh.
you know what? I'll bring you up to date on one thing you may or may not know that I started since we last talked because it has been a little while. I was going through some things and just really could not take on any more than I was taking on. And thank you for your understanding about that, by the way. But I started a podcast with my husband about Beavis and Butthead.
Ooh.
It's called TP for Your Earholes, so you can add that to my roster.
I have come across that one, yes.
Have you really? Did you watch Beavis and Butthead in the day?
A little bit. See, I didn't have cable. My parents didn't get cable till I was in university, so I'd have to be at someone's house or
Ah.
someone maybe taped some off of television. We all went
Mhm.
to see Do America when it came out. And hey, for an extra plug,
Nice.
you and I talked about the newer movie over at Films
Do
and
the
Filth, which yeah,
universe.
yeah, Do the Universe. So
That's right.
that
Yeah.
happened. So I am a fan, but I am in a place. There were a few MTV shows where it was like stolen gems or something. I remember a Liquid Television. Oh, the Idiot
Oh,
Box with Alex
yes.
Winter. That's one I love. If you don't know what I'm talking about,
Mm.
if other people don't
Oh,
know what
I
I'm
do.
talking
I
about,
do.
okay,
Yes.
try and find the Idiot Box with Alex Winter. That is some great stuff. Um,
I haven't looked that up on YouTube. I hope it's there.
I just saw a friend and he was showing his Christmas yield and there was an Idiot Box disc in there. So I guess you can find it now.
Hmm.
That's the other reason it came to mind because I saw a picture of
Oh,
this like 2 days
amazing.
ago.
I love that.
But also, as we were talking about one of the Twilight Zone series that I guess people didn't watch that much because it was canceled after Tuesday. Although, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
The production, the thing was like, well, we felt like we did what we needed to. Although that sounds, you don't know if that's the truth.
That's maybe the PR answer, the polite answer, where, hey, we're really
Right.
proud of what we've done and we're going to move on now because we
But
got canceled.
but yeah, I sticking you with a heavy episode. It's replay. It's your first
Yeah,
peel. I
it
watched.
is.
I watched the first season. I think the first half of the first season 5 years ago, all five. So I did watch this in order. Um, this is one that actually pretty much like kind of impressed me to the show. This was like where okay, this is full on Twilight Zone when it wants to be.
Nice, nice. Yes, this is my very first experience with Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone, and I know he is a big fan of the horror genre, and Twilight Zone was an influence on him growing up. So the fact that he got to be a part of this, I think is just really cool that he got that opportunity. And no, I'm one of those people that knew about the show when it was coming out and being released. And did I watch it? No, I did not. Now, Matt, you know this, but maybe our audience doesn't. It takes a lot to get me to just sit down and watch a show if I'm not watching it and analyzing it for a podcast.
Oh yeah, that's the problem of a of people that do multiple podcasts.
That's just it. Like, that is how we consume most of our media. It's because we are preparing for something. Otherwise, if my husband doesn't want to necessarily watch it, our TV time is maybe at most a couple hours a night, and we'll watch stuff that we both want to watch. If it's just me, I got to find a way to make that time.
No, other than podcasting, I think I've spent the last week slowly watching Ghostbusters Frozen Empire just because I have to watch it's not that good, but I'm like I have to
Mm,
it's not offensively bad. It's just kind of there. And it's like, oh, it's some Ghostbusters stuff. I guess it's fine.
okay.
But I'm not
I've not
recommending it.
watched the show, so
Oh no, this is a movie. That's
oh, a
how.
movie.
Yeah, I'm spending a week watching a movie. I watch like 20 minutes and then go do something else for a while, or get
Mm.
ready for a podcast. Yeah, so
Do
holiday
you
week.
find it harder to watch movies, like sit down and watch a movie for 2 hours as opposed to an episode of television?
Hmm. Yeah, television is sort of like I have to finish this in one bite, where a movie I feel like I can chop up a little bit.
Oh, interesting. I feel kind of the opposite in a way. I feel like a movie, a 2 hour commitment, okay, I've really got to want to watch this thing. But for an episode of TV, if I can get something bite-sized, 30, 45 minutes, hell yeah, I'm in. And you know what's funny is I might watch several episodes of a show if I want to binge it, but a movie, 2 hours, I'll watch 2 hours of TV over a 2 hour movie any day.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I guess I am the opposite on that. Um,
It's
you
weird.
can replay it. Oh, sorry, I'm doing that segue.
Hey,
Uh, let's I guess get rolling on this, and I will do
sure.
a little bit of the trivia. Original air date was April 11th, 2019. So when Seifu Hines wrote the teleplay, this basically seems to be his only writing credit, and not to be too subjective, but maybe he should write some more. I'd like this teleplay.
Yeah.
Gerard McMurray directed this episode. He also directed the movie The First Purge, which is confusingly not the first Purge movie, but is probably a better movie than the first Purge. That doesn't make sense unless you see my capitalization that I used or didn't use in that sentence. You can have also fun conversations like that talking about The Exorcist now, I believe.
Hey, yes.
Susanna Lathan played Nina Harrison. You'll also find her in Love and Basketball, Alien vs. Predator, and a few episodes of Succession, and voicing Catwoman in the Harley Quinn animated series. So lots of genre
Nice.
credits there.
Yeah.
Dorian Harrison was played by Damon Idris. He has since made an impact in the movie F1. And he is not related to Idris Elba. One is a first name and the other is a last name, but you can flip it if you're in Asia because Japanese names go the other way. But I
Yeah.
I thought that like three times during the trivia. No, no, this is the first name. That's the last name. That's not how this works.
Honestly, when I saw his name, because I did look up, I was looking something up on IMDb for this episode and saw his name. And any relation to Idris Elba? No, 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 no.
Glenn Flesher was Officer Lansky. Flesher also appeared in Joker, like it or not, as well as TV series such as True Detective, a show that I've not seen because, as you and I were talking, it's hard to commit to a TV show, even if it's supposed to be good. Neil Harrison was Steve Harris. You may have caught him playing football in the documentary Hoop Dreams. Did I mean like basketball? I think he was playing basketball in Hoop Dreams. Okay. Or
That
you may
sounds
remember.
like basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like a typo on my part. Or you may remember him showing up in animated. I think I fell asleep while while writing this trivia. You may remember showing animated God. Okay, yeah, he's in something else. That's all I'm gonna say. I
Okay,
think I fell
cool.
asleep on
Yeah.
my keyboard. Okay,
Oh,
interesting.
no.
Well, I am popping into the chat a introduction if you would be willing to read that.
Certainly. Presenting Nina Harrison, a woman who left her past behind to provide a better future for her son. Today, however, she will have no choice but to revisit history again and again on a fateful drive through the perilous highways of the Twilight Zone.
All right. See, nobody knows how to read them anymore because before it's like, oh, I'm doing a Rod Serling, and now it's like, what am I doing?
You know what, though? I love that Jordan Peele serves as the narrator a la Sterling. Sterling. Jeez.
It happens.
That.
Um,
Yeah.
um, although I think now it's been a few weeks and I forgot who mentioned it. I mentioned it on a few of these other podcasts, but the key to the introductions is unlike Serling, who seems like he's confidently coming in from the Twilight Zone. Jordan Peele sounds looks like he's terrified and like trying to hide it as hard as he can. I like that vibe in his introductions. When someone mentioned that, it was Mark or Andrew on this podcast, and then I was like, "Oh, that makes his introductions really pop for me." So, uh,
It makes it interesting. Yes, now that you mention that.
if you want to replay this episode or another one, just when you see him come on screen and do a thing, it's like he's telling you something he really doesn't want to, but he's hiding it as hard as he can. I like
What
that.
else does he know? Why is he so afraid?
Exactly. So, another kind of recurring thing we've been getting to with these episodes is length. We noticed the first two seemed a little padded out. This one probably is a little padded out too, but I it it worked for me. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad. At least on maybe on a repeat viewing, I could dissect that a little more, but certainly first couple times out, I didn't notice it.
And this is the one I've actually seen this episode like I think four times. I saw it originally. When my parents were visiting, and we had one night left when we'd finished watching, I don't know, Picard season three or something, and I was like, I gotta put something on. I think I put this on, but which they didn't like this as much as the original Twilight Zone. But hey, what can you do?
It is, I mean, it's a different take, it's a different time. And
Right.
it is very 2019, in terms of things like even just like the cinematography. It's not shot the same way a 1950s show is shot by any stretch.
Oh no, no, not at all. Which and there is a certain thing. It's like the original show. There's like one episode. I was like, it'd be nice if this one was in color. The rest is like, yes, black and white all the way. And there is a and that is one of the bugaboos for every reiteration of the Twilight Zone. They're all in color, and it's like, could you try it in black and white? I mean, maybe I think there's another one
Well,
possibly in the pipe, and it'd be cool if they at least did one of those segments in black and white just to see what happens.
I agree. That would be a really interesting experiment. Like, would
But
it feel a little more creepy Twilight Zone-ish? Because I did feel like it's maybe different enough to where it doesn't feel as Twilight Zone-ish. And I thought, well, maybe this being my first episode, maybe that changes over time, or maybe it varies from episode to episode. But the overall vibe I got was more, I don't know, magic over Twilight Zone, more of like a sci-fi feel.
yes, high concept sci-fi. And I think that's the one of the things that really like scratches my itch with this episode. Because what are some movies I like that everyone hates because of a big concept? Here's a good example. It's In Time or Time. It had a slightly different title in Japan. The one with Justin Timberlake and the guy that directed
Oh,
Gattaca. And anyway, it's
you're
not
asking the wrong
really a
person.
good movie. It's not really a great movie, but it's just one of those high concept things. Everyone has a life clock on their arm, and when it runs out of time, they die. So rich people have
Okay.
like a million years on their arm, and some people have like 40 minutes and they have to, go sell something before they run out of time and
Oh,
die.
wow.
But they
So
all
you re-up
look
your
young.
lifespan with money?
Yes. So Justin Timberlake's mom is like looks the same age as him. It's like Olivia Wilde or something, one of
Oh,
the Olivias.
wow.
So and the thing is,
Okay.
it's a little bit of a ramshackle movie, but I like that movie more than I should, just because of I am a sucker for these high concept things, and this episode totally rings that bell in my head, like
Interesting.
with the magical camcorder that's never really explained because this is the Twilight Zone. You don't have to explain it, but
Yeah, you shouldn't. You don't.
when's the last time you used a camcorder?
Oh, man, I gotta really jog my memory for that. I think it might have been sometime in the 1990s. No joke.
Oh wow, okay. We did have a
Mm-hmm.
digital one because we got our iPhones in 2015, so we had a little red one we were using until then.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, once I had the iPhone, like everybody else, that became my camcorder to record everything. And I got that in 2009. I never did a digital one. We're talking old-fashioned, put in the videotape, clunky, heavy handheld camcorder.
I'm talking. It was a smaller one. This, right? Yeah. Oh, what you
Yeah.
had? Yes, yes, yes. So,
Yeah. Yeah, this
yeah.
was earlier mid 90s. And I remember for a little while, my parents were on that kick of making home movies and whatnot and recording stuff.
No, Andrew Scheer, who's on the show a lot. When we were kids, his family, they for Christmas one year they got the big clunky camcorder, and we went about making, like dozens of hours of, TV shows and movies and stuff. And hey, he's still making the movie, so it took.
Hey.
But yeah, yeah, that was a magical camcorder. Geez, from age 11 to 13, that was like the focus of our lives until we, bought guitars and then changed focus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I don't know about you, but I never thought about how dated that technology seems now or would be in that time, certainly.
I went kicking and screaming. Like I was very into photography. I did photography in high school. I actually started out as a journalism major to do photojournalism in university, but it was 1997, and I was right on the line. I went to a class like, oh, we're using digital cameras now, and I'm like, I like the darkroom. I want to be Peter Parker, right?
Ah, you just missed that day. Yeah.
Oh, but that was good because how many people make a living being photojournalists now when we all have our iPhones that take great pictures, you know?
Right. Yeah. Having worked in journalism, it's been very painful seeing the industry as a whole get
But
on
I
such a massive decline.
I shot on film in my camera all the way up to like 2005, which I think's a little beyond the point when people did that. I bought a digital SLR, the big camera
Oh,
for a
yeah.
while.
Yeah. I got
But
one.
yeah, but I gave it to a friend once, I was like, I'm just using an iPhone. He's into photography more than me now, and I take pictures on my iPhone I like. Hey,
Hmm.
I never do this plug, but on Instagram, look up psychedelic Japan and you'll find my arty photography. So,
Hey, okay, cool. Nice.
but that's all with an iPhone. So yeah, it is fun in 2019, and this show kind of ages well because the more the show ages, the weirder that camcorder looks.
Yeah, I mean, you really do question why is she taking this big clunky camcorder around with her when we know everybody's got iPhones. Her son has a phone. All the students at the college have phones, and yet she sticks to the camcorder
There
because of its
is the
magical
allure.
powers.
There is an allure to older tech. Again, I tend to buy guitars. This one is spec'd on a mix of 1959 and
Wow.
1965. I don't want the more modern version. I don't. I want the one that's
Yeah,
clunky and weird. My daughter's
honestly,
16. She's gotten into. She likes cassette tapes. We got her some. We got her tape players. She tapes things off the radio. We went to the States. We went to Wuxtry Records in Athens, Georgia, and we found some cassettes to buy there. So,
yeah. Hey, that's a big shift that's happening is I think we've been in the digital world for a while now and we're seeing the enshittification of everything so hard, especially on the internet, and people want the real physical connection. They want to talk to real people, not a chatbot. They want to play with buttons, not a touch screen and stuff like that. And there's a reason why vinyl is outselling anything else right now with music.
vinyl's depressing for me though, because I have a fantastic vinyl collection, but I have no turntable and haven't played any of those records since 2010. That's living in Japan.
No.
Houses are
Oh.
small. I don't have a place to set up my record player, but
Oh.
one
Well,
one
that's
day
too
I'll get
bad.
back to it. I do live in a room stacked with physical media. If you want to do CDs, this room is filled with them. So I
Oh,
just said
hey,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I used to have quite the CD collection back in the day, and then did what everybody else did, and I eventually got rid of those because I had digital copies. I thought, oh, I don't need it no more.
But then I assume people have watched the episode, but just to whiplash to the end of this episode, the denouement or the climax or whatever, is everyone picking up their iPhones and filming. So,
That's right.
so in the
That's
end, we
right.
do
That's
need that
right.
modern tech in this episode to, ward off our scary police officer.
Right. Yeah, I mean that definitely shows an upside to the technology, right? Is there's it's done to a point now where we virtually have no privacy. Everything is surveilled. However, the fact that anybody anywhere can record at any time does take away the questions. Oh, no one's going to see it. No one's going to believe you if, say you get beaten by a police officer. Heck, even Rodney King.
Yeah, I
That
saw
whole
that in
thing
your
happened
notes,
because of
and
a camcorder.
right. But
So,
and that's the big clunky camcorder. So it
yes.
is an interesting thread. There is more to this. When we start thinking about this episode, there, yeah, it definitely has the technological spin is notable because I obviously the other threads are the ones that stick out. This is a episode that's very much pressing buttons. Um, like I grew up in Atlanta, so yeah. What I think we were all a little wary of the police. When you see a police car, you're like, "Arr," and when you're walking by, you're kind of like, let's walk a little slower so I don't catch up with this guy. Japan, the same thing, except usually there's no problem. Japanese police officers usually don't mess with people that much. They don't even carry guns. So,
Hmm.
they have to go
So
back
it's not quite like this.
if they need guns, they have to go back to the station where the guns are in the arms locker. They specifically
Oh,
need guns.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. They usually just have like a billy club. Um, I w
Huh.
I've been walking around with Scott, who's been on an episode or two of this podcast, and sometimes when we're walking around Tokyo, we will get stopped and asked for our ID because I guess when they see more than one foreigner walking around, they might bug you. But that was in Tokyo. Oh, and I got stopped on a bike once, and they wanted to check if I owned the bike, which was kind of annoying. But
Oh, interesting. I mean, that does have some parallel to what's happening in the episode where, oh, foreigner or, oh, black person, what makes you think you have the right to own that car? Hmm?
And just to fully put it out, I'm not going to say that any discrimination I get in Japan is comparable to what, to that situation because sometimes people will play that card and I don't think it's correct. The worst we get is what do we have? Occasionally there'll be big news because like a restaurant or something will suddenly put up a sign that says no foreigners just because they don't want to deal with other languages and stuff, which is kind of weird. So that
Ah.
happens, but that's kind of rare. And like I said, you stick out, so occasionally you might get slightly profiled, but it's nothing like, what we've been
Mm.
dealing with in America. I don't feel
It-
particularly
yeah. Oh
uh
gosh. Yeah. Watching this episode really brought up just 2020 for me all over again and the whole George Floyd murder and all of that. And I think that really exploded in the consciousness of people's brains. But this was produced in 2019. So obviously, this has been happening for as long as there's been the United States of America. But, you know,
well,
it's
it's
also like
like
the more things have not changed,
if
you
you want to
know.
get real Twilight Zone, and I'm getting out of science, I'm getting metaphysical here. There's always the idea that big events kind of had quantum ripples, like they kind of go in both ways. Like nine
Hmm.
11. That's why you got all that weird Simpson stuff before that happens. I do not think the creators of The Simpsons were sitting there baking in, Kabbalist things to warn people or anything. But I do think maybe the influence goes both ways quantumly, and I could see this being something like that where, I mean, it's in the air, right? So it builds up to that event.
Right.
It's not like it
Yeah,
wasn't there before.
exactly, exactly. That there was certainly the climate building up to the George Floyd moment.
So I do think it's okay to put this in comparison with that. And we've already had like what Trevor Martin and like what eight other people that, or more, sorry, eight's probably low on it in the previous
Yeah,
year.
that's just
So
like major news stories,
right. So everyone
you
was
know.
aware of that stuff. George Floyd just happened. It was when everybody was kind of in their house and kind of exploded out of their house for what, 2, 3
Right.
weeks? I don't remember how it worked in the States.
I mean, it was a very weird time. We were all locked down because of COVID, and it had that feel of enough is enough. It is time to stop this,
Right. So this
you
is
know.
already, it's already bubbling when this episode's made, but you add in
Oh,
three other elements,
certainly.
you get a big event. And this is one weird disconnect I have with most people is that I never really had to lock down even in the height of COVID, I actually had to get on the train and go to work. And then I would go into a room by myself and teach kids on Zoom. It's Japan. It's weird. They wanted me to go to work and then remotely teach kids. They couldn't
Oh,
go to my home. So
how interesting. And
that's
meanwhile, we
it.
were doing everything on Zoom.
Yeah. And I was on like trains by myself sometime, which was actually kind of amazing. I miss
I bet
those,
that was
especially when
nice.
it was
Yeah.
nice. I made like a music video filming myself on a train. I'm like, it's empty. I was like playing guitars on trains. I'm like, no one's here. I'm not bugging anybody.
In
But
those days where I was still commuting and going to a job and did have to work during quote unquote lockdowns, The traffic, the lack of traffic in Los Angeles made it downright nice
Yeah.
to
I,
have
I
a
also live
commute.
I also live in the mountains, so it's kind of like Japan was very much like if there are no cases, just carry on, and that's what happened. My
Huh.
prefecture just did not have cases until like August, and by then.
Wow. And mask wearing is a much bigger thing in Japan than it
Oh
is
yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah. Yeah, some people like especially right now it's winter flu season. I'm on the train now. Half the people now are masking up. Um, I had to mask up yesterday because I was teaching in a basement where it's like the circulation's bad. Like the air is so bad in here. I just put on a mask and taught a few classes that way, which
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't done for like 2 years. So,
Huh.
but if you are sick, it's kind of like you should do that. Is the Japanese thing. If you're coughing, you put on a mask.
I do wish that was something that we had adopted here, where if you are not, even if you're not feeling well, or even if you've been around somebody who's not feeling well, put on a freaking mask, please.
Like
But no.
on my phone, I have photos from 2019 where my family actually I was probably working that day, but they went to like a local like an old town style thing, and they were all masked up, but it was like 2019. It was just because they all had colds.
I mean, it is the more considerate thing to do, for sure.
Non-considerate things to do is what this police officer is doing, and I don't want to just like steamroll straight to my questions, but what do you think this guy is? He seems real and unreal at the same time. That's Officer Lasky, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly a caricature of when people say F the police, they're talking about guys like this.
Right. That's where I am. Like, how much of, but at the same time, it's like this guy probably is real.
That's just the problem, right? Is I think this is all too real. If you are a black person in America, this it has to be your experience more often than not. Granted, if you cannot see me, I'm a lily white asshole. So my experience, I know, is different. I'm not getting randomly stopped and asking for verification of ownership of my vehicle. It just because I exist, you know?
Yeah. How I've gotten some speeding tickets. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of when I've been pulled over by police. It was never threatening because again, I'm another white guy. I've didn't feel I was annoyed. I was like, crap, I have to pay $100 or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, but you have to deliberately F up for
Yes.
you to get pulled over. I mean, that's been my experience anyway. And thankfully, it's not been too much, but there were a couple speeding tickets I did deserve.
Oh, okay. I have to talk about one of my speeding tickets. This was like the worst karma. Um, I went in Athens, Georgia. I saw Robin Hitchcock play a concert with my friend. Robin Hitchcock, great musician, recommend. And then he had to do like a red-eye flight. So I drive him like in the middle of the night, like 60 miles to Atlanta to the airport. I'm coming back. I'm going over a bridge and I'm in a white Beetle and there's another white Beetle that passes me. And then I get stopped. I knew that was a speed trap. I'm like, I think that was the other white Beetle that he
Oh,
was actually and
boo.
got mine instead because I knew I was not speeding. But and
But
I'd done a middle of the night trip to take my friend to the airport and back. So I was like, ah.
dang
Um,
it.
but yeah,
Yeah,
bad
that
bad luck there.
sucks.
Never. In Japan, people don't get stopped that much. They occasionally they have speed trap places. I know one or two places that's a speed trap, but there's almost never a cop there. It just they don't
Hmm.
really stop people much. Tokyo, the same thing, because if you live in Tokyo, you don't want to drive. That would be insane. That's
I
like
can't
drive. That's like
imagine.
owning a car
No.
in Manhattan.
Yeah, you're probably going to get there faster if you just walk.
Right. So I definitely don't, getting stopped in this way and having to sit there be respectful is definitely something I don't have to think about so hard, which
Right.
is a point in this episode that some people do have to think about that because it's a real issue.
Yeah, I loved watching the contrast too between mother and son, where Nina starts off anyway, trying to be like to diffuse the situation, be respectful, answer questions, whatever it takes to get out of the situation peacefully. Whereas her son is like, this is some BS. I know my rights and I'm going to stand my ground. And then it's fun to see Nina, as she goes through this journey in the story, become more and more frustrated and getting angrier and getting more aggressive herself.
It's because she knows Dorian is right as well, right?
Right, right.
He's not
Yeah, and
wrong.
when playing nice does not work, then you get mean.
Right. Or at least you stand your ground. Again,
Yeah.
I teach a lot of kids, and I have found unless danger is happening, I probably don't need to like raise or intensify my voice much.
Hmm.
Just yesterday, I have a thing. I got actually the biggest class I've had here because I usually have a small class. It's 15 kids, elementary school. I'm doing a test with them. One kid's just like, bopping around his chair and going nuts, right? So I had to kind of like lay
Uh-huh.
down the law with him, and I felt a little bad about that. But we do the test. He gets a little goofy after that. Then it turned out I had a private lesson. By the private lesson, he liked me. So it's like
Hmm.
you you do have to like say put your boundaries, but I'm in an authority position. I'm the teacher in a room. I know
Yeah.
I'm right and I get to roll with that. I'm trying not to abuse it. I'm, not going Lansky where I'm going to shoot the kid or anything.
Well, yeah.
Lasky.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference there. I mean, I think both Nina and Dorian are very cognizant that their lives could be in danger in this situation. And many times it is. I mean, Nina saw a lot of her family, get taken out of that house when they eventually go back, quote unquote, home. Her
Okay.
brother, her dad.
Okay, I have one more teaching situation where maybe I'm abusing my authority with this with very small children. If they throw something or, like do something violent, I might pick them
Hmm.
up until they apologize. Which little kids don't want to do. All I want to do is say, I'm sorry. Or even they could do a Japanese gomenasai. It backfired on me last week. The kid ended up doing a flip and running off, but then he seemed to feel sorry about later. So I guess it was fine. But
Huh.
that when I
Interesting.
do that, I'm like, am I abusing my authority? Because as a grown person, I'm picking up a not a little person as in a child, and then just like let's apologize, not raising my voice at all. Just like, but I
Hmm.
am doing this physical thing, right? Which I'm
Uh,
like, is that
I legit
no?
don't know, man. I don't
I don't
know
either.
if, yeah. I know, I'm sure, at least in the States, you probably wouldn't, you're not allowed to put a
No, I
finger on
wouldn't
a
be allowed to do
kid
that in the
these
States. So
days.
Japan is different that way. In
Yeah.
Japan, when I taught in the States, I remember if I had a private lesson with, say, a female high school student, I would leave the door open. Where
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have to do that in Japan. So
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Culturally, I don't know what the standard is for you, but I'm not going to tell you you're doing anything wrong. Hell no. I don't have to
oh,
work with those kids.
right. No, I'm just having a personal thing of am I taking the correct approach or not? That's one of the times
Right.
I'm like, am I? But yeah.
I mean, it's probably always good to be cognizant of this stuff and question it, right?
Yeah. I guess the point I'm getting at is where is the slippery slope where you start to Lasky, do Officer Lasky? Does your heart have to be filled with hate to do that, or can you just like get used to wielding your authority in a dumb way?
And then here's the thing. Let's try and consider it from his point of view, right? Where he is dealing with the absolute worst situations on any given day. That has got to do something to somebody. Where I feel like you do like emotionally get maybe blunted a little bit and you maybe are quick to come to conclusions. Oh, okay, it's one of these, and you do profile somebody, and it's because you've heard it before. And even if it's not necessarily true, your experience is telling you one thing.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the crux of this episode that because of the sci-fi, high concept thing, in every situation he's going to do this. It's not a
Right.
specific
Which,
situations. They do what, like five different major attempts to do it differently, and it's different every time. But he always has the urge to, stop these people.
right. So is it necessary? Is it him? Is it him just being a racist asshole? Or, yeah, what?
Yeah. So, and I guess, right as you said that, I was reading my note. At base level, Officer Lasky is just an absolute asshole.
Well, look, like it or not, yeah, I think the guy could use a little bit of help.
Yeah.
I don't know if he grew up in a racist household or whatever, but I think, could use maybe a little bit of a shift in perspective.
I mean, my voice cracked. I mean, compare this to say Hot Fuzz. That's funny at Simon Pegg. It's funny cops. When they do bad things, it's because they're making funny comedy decisions where there's nothing funny about
Right.
this episode.
Yeah, or Super Troopers, they do funny things because they're stupid.
Yeah, I guess because Lasky feels stupid, but he's not comically stupid.
No,
And
no,
he's
he's not.
strategic, obviously, because he's able to, well, or is he strategic? Because all of these, stops end badly, where he's, killing his perp. I feel like
Yeah?
I've never been through police training, but I feel like killing the perp is maybe a bit of a fail. It's
You know,
better to bring him in. That's what
I'm not
Batman
a
does.
police officer because I don't think I could do that.
No, I couldn't either. I mentioned my original major was journalism, and after photojournalism seemed like a bad idea. They liked my writing. I can write pretty well. Not a story, by the way, but I can just write well. So
Hmm.
they're trying. I was working for the university newspaper and stuff, but I was like, I don't like approaching people cold and asking them questions, especially not when I was like 18.
Right. It's
I,
not the most comfortable thing. No, and you have to be very comfortable doing that.
And that's where I was like, maybe I'm not a journalist because I don't really want to do that. Hey, I do podcasting now, so I'm a little more likely to call people cold, but
I think it's like any skill you start in one place, you either choose to get better at it or you don't.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I'm gonna have a squiz at my notes. Squiz is Australian for having a look. It's been put in my
Squiz. I
permanent.
like that. Okay, I'm putting that in my head.
Yeah, that one's gotten stuck. So I use it now in American conversations. Um, mm, yeah, let's focus, I guess, a little bit. We talked a fair amount about Dory and Lasky for sure, but what is Nina? Yeah, that's a one big plus to the actor. I keep thinking like in the 5 years since I've watched this episode, like who was in that episode? I kept thinking like big names about who was the star of this one, and I was like, oh, she's not a big star. She's just really good. The actor, I mean,
Yeah, super good. Super good.
it's Simon
She did a
laughing just
really great
again.
job, and I love the chemistry these actors have as their characters, Nina and Dorian. What an adorable mother-son relationship they have.
Right, that's part of the joy of this episode, and I mean it's bad chemistry, but in a good way with the officer too. Just like all of the actors in this do make a certain
Yeah,
vibe, and
they do their job. Yeah.
but because my daughter's 16, I'll be taking her university in 2 years, I guess. So I don't know where she wants to go yet, but yeah. In her case, I'm like we're having a holiday now. I'm like, hey, we want to go anywhere? She's like, oh, I have to do 8 hours of studying each day on vacation. I'm like, why?
That doesn't sound like vacation.
This is how my child is rebelling against me. She's actually I did give her a guitar, but yeah, she's not running off. She's studying too much. I'm like, why don't you study less? I'm
You're
I'm
gonna
in
burn out. Be careful.
yeah. It's like the Ned Flanders thing, right? Where his parents are beatniks and Ned Flanders is Ned Flanders. I'm Ned
Yes.
Flanders' father. Why's my kid so square?
It happens.
I guess that's another interesting generational thing, though. Are we getting to the generation where kids are why so serious?
Maybe. I'm legit not sure. I'm not a parent myself. I don't know what's going on with the kids. They
At the
confuse
same
me.
time, I'm like, I cannot tell you not to diligently study if that's what you want to do. So,
Right? Yeah, you're not going to discourage that.
exactly. So, I did force everyone to go get lunch after we do this podcast, though. So, get her out
Hey,
of the
cool,
house for that.
good.
Indian food. Hmm. No, actually, it's Nepalese food, technically, but it's basically the
Oh,
same as the Indian curry.
yum. I had a curry last week and it was delicious.
So the different threads followed in this are the basic traffic stop. We do that a few times. Then we try and diffuse it. It goes worse in the parking lot. And then we finally go to visit the estranged family, which was Neil Harrison. Yes. So
Yeah.
that was one catch. You mentioned correctly that the mother-son chemistry is great here, but then this woman has completely shut off the rest of her family.
Right. Yeah, she got out of that house thinking there's got to be a better way and did make a better life for herself, but
Yeah,
at what price?
right.
She missed her dad's funeral.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore because I'm thinking about my family. I mean, there's all sorts of personalities. Um, when I was back in the States, I had people explain to me why they voted for Trump. I was like, I never get that conversation in Japan. But
Oh, you lucky.
well, that was the thing coming back. I was like, people do talk about it this way. Okay, interesting.
America.
America. Um, but yeah, that was kind of fascinating that she did not get along with her family, and then that was basically the solution to this, a difficult solution. It's not like they had a good time of it in the end, but he does get to school in the end, with the magic of iPhones.
The magic iPhones, right? Not the camcorder necessarily, although the camcorder was there. There was a difference, no rewind, but
And I
nevertheless.
this didn't click the first few times I watched it. When I watched it for this podcast, I mean, I obviously heard it the first time, but they really do push in that, oh, this guy was a Black Panther, basically. So it's like you do
Hmm.
have to access, besides accessing the family, you also have to access this, underground system.
The
And then they
history,
they get
yeah.
there underground. I mean, they almost literally underground railroad to the school.
Uh, Pretty much like yeah, that's definitely that's saying something, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, I just that came through. There are some layers to this episode which are nice. It does replaying replay is probably a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I don't know, I feel like it's a solid story. It's enjoyable and uh had a thought on the brother. Not only does he know the ins and outs of like the Underground Railroad essentially to get to the school, but did you look around in the house and the furnishings?
Please continue. I looked a
Well,
little bit.
okay.
Maybe you saw something I didn't.
Well, okay, when they pull up to this house, I gotta be honest, I was a little surprised. I was expecting it to be a little more run down, a little more just battered looking, because I thought maybe she came out of like really bad poverty and all of that. Well, okay, and that doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as violence. But this was a fairly nicely well kept house. And I think maybe that was the point where, and there's plenty of things like I saw a Black Lives Matter poster and stuff like that, where this is obviously an important part of this family's being. And it speaks to that.
Something else. This school seems to be very rural, like it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Um,
Yeah,
and
seems
and
like it.
And I was just thinking, because I'm from Atlanta, and again, I'm saying this as a white guy, so if I'm wrong about this, but we have Morehouse, Spelman, those are places I feel like anyone can easily get in and out of. It did in this one, it was like kind of a citadel. It's this rural place where I'm like, yeah, Morehouse and Spelman, those are like, those are mainline Atlanta schools. So you get out in and out of those quite easily. And if I could
Hmm.
be wrong, I don't know how it actually works, but that was just my
Yeah.
assumption.
One thing I meant to do before we recorded was I wanted to look up the name of this school to see if it's a real school. Because if it's fictional, it could just be your typical liberal arts college where, yeah, we're all in the middle of nowhere and we're going to use our imaginations to create great things because Dorian wants to be a filmmaker. So maybe this is some sort of ideal HBCU situation for him to go to.
That could be it. So I'm actually having a bit of a look to see if I can figure out. Oh, I know why. This shows a little harder research since unfortunately people didn't watch it. You often cannot find specific articles, uh,
Hmm.
which I just discovered again. But uh, oh, since the show now has obscenities, I've basically stopped censoring people. So you do have to read your final note.
Oh, good, good. I mean, my handle online, you can find me at Oh the Profanity just about in any instance where I have an account. So my final comment on this episode is, oh, fuck you, episode. You got really dark at the end,
Which is the
telling us that
camcorder
it's never
breaking.
gone.
Right. I did find
And
it chilling, and I did like that all you hear is a siren and a flash of light.
oh,
There
it
could be no
got me,
connection
man.
there, you know?
That, that hurt. And then it's a reminder to me, like, yeah, this is reality for a lot of people. Like you're constantly watching your back, no matter how good things are.
Yeah, and that's why I cannot actually complain about discrimination in Japan. They're changing visa laws now. Last time I paid for my visa to be here was like $60. Next time it might be 600. They're like up charging
Oh
it like
wow.
that much. Well, in yen, you can make it whatever. Anyway, so I got things like that, but I never worry that I'm going to walk out of my house and get accosted, you know?
Right,
I
you're not
walk
gonna die because you're gonna run out and grab ice cream for your kid.
Right. I walk around at midnight with expensive guitars on my back and I'm not concerned because I live in Japan. I mean, I wouldn't do that in Atlanta. That's my hometown. I know how these things work, but but here, like, I cannot really argue. I mean, the things we have in this episode is completely different than what I have to deal with, even if I can occasionally say, oh, they do look at foreigners a different way in Japan. But
Yeah, yeah, but maybe yeah, not the violence. Well, Japan does not strike me as a violent
no,
place.
also, if people are getting weird, I can usually diffuse the situation with like 5 words of Japanese. Like my Japanese isn't that good, but if you give them a little bit, or oh, this guy knows Japanese now. Okay, great.
So then they stop harassing you.
Kind of, yeah. Like if I'm at a store, sometimes like and they'll act kind of. Oh, when I was buying this guitar, the guy's starting to like detune it and stuff. I'm like, oh no, I'm playing, man. I live in Nagano. I said it in Japanese, so he was, oh, okay. I mean, it was nice of him to do that because he thought I was going to send it on an airplane, in which case you do want to detune it. So
Ah,
he was being nice, but I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to play this thing today, dude.
yeah.
Do not detune.
Gotcha.
Um, and and he wouldn't have done that if I was Japanese, but that's not discrimination, is it? That's just like reading the room. There's a difference.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of reading the room, that is another thing I noticed about Nina is just how emotionally intelligent she is as a person and the way she tried to read situations, going for details like the state trooper's wedding ring. Like, oh, you're married? And even though that came to an emotional, oh, sorry, that's not exactly what the conversation I thought we were going to have, but nevertheless, she spots details like that and really tries to connect with people. Like she's
That's
really genuinely trying, as awkward as the conversation is between her and Lansky.
That's kind of, I guess, one of the other things that I think really makes this episode work is she never really makes a bad decision. It's just none of the good decisions work
Well, I think there
until
is
she gets back to
something,
her family, you know?
yeah, I think it's important to note that the more she tried, every time she hit rewind, guess what? It got worse.
Yeah.
So what does that say?
Well, people get a fixation. I mean, I think most of have in our lives where we've run across someone. It's like I really would like to get along with this person, but it's just not clicking for whatever reason, you know?
Right. Well, and how many of us would love to have a redo if we got pulled over and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, hit that brake a little earlier. Although, like I said, that sometimes that car that looks very similar is passing by. Um,
Exactly.
I,
Yeah, and so, if you do get a redo, that's not to say it's going to be better necessarily. That's kind of what I get out of this episode is like almost like the harder you try, the worse it's going to be until you just face it and break the cycle.
right, right. Um, I guess let's go into a couple questions or regular ones.
All right.
Who in this episode goes in or through the Twilight Zone?
I gotta come back with a question for you because
Yeah.
throughout the episode, I was wondering, was Lasky going into and out of the Twilight Zone? Like, was he the key here? And it wasn't, I don't think. I don't think that's what the story was trying to tell us. But I was questioning that while watching.
Yeah, that's another one of the weird disconnects of this episode because I want to say Lasky is of the Twilight Zone, but then the disturbing thing of the episode is maybe he's not.
Yeah, I mean, it is awfully creepy the way he just shows up every time he has that sort of extra sensory something or another going on. But I think we're meant to believe from what the story gives us that it's all about the camcorder.
Yeah, I think this episode does a very good job of making it seem like Lasky's of the Twilight Zone, but then when you think about it, you're like, ah, he's not, and that sucks. The
Yeah, I think it's
camcorder
just
is
meant to make us
definitely
feel bad. Yeah.
our supernatural element is definitely the camcorder. So
Yeah, no, I think his superpower is just that he sucks. He's a
yeah.
he's a lousy person.
And so it's like I guess Nina and Dorian are they're definitely traveling to the Twilight Zone. They're riding a I mean if you want to call the camcorder a literal vehicle, you can, you know, it does make you travel. So
Yeah, Nina
what
for
makes Nina
sure
travel? Yeah, I don't
is.
yeah, I guess does Dorian I guess Dorian doesn't, except he has all these multiple versions of himself now. But
Right. And then we're getting into a multiverse situation possibly, and I don't even want to start with that. I'm like Captain Janeway. Time travel gives me a headache and
oh, I jumped to the questions because I was about to make that tangent. I was like, maybe I shouldn't right now. I shouldn't get that. I shouldn't get that far off the rails.
I mean, look, yeah, as Star Trek fans, we know what happens when you F with time. It's usually not good.
And j just since Mission Log recently covered Endgame, you are like, was the first
Oh.
timeline the correct timeline?
Right, right. There was much discussion on that. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I do, I mean, this Twilight Zone, it is, yes, the final one, at least in the year it happens, is the correct timeline. And then we get that little, bumper at the end just to really creep you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Ugh.
I mean, again, you like who deserves what in this episode? My other question is, do they deserve their trip in a Twilight Zone? And th this is a keeping with the mission log terminology, bonk bonk on the head of who deserves what in this episode. Lasky deserves
Ooh.
some kind of comeuppance, even if it's doesn't seem too. I mean, maybe he gets reprimanded at the end. That seems to be about the most that's going to happen.
That would be nice if we could have seen that, because what I was hoping for, what I felt was missing in this episode is I really wanted, because you could say that this is trying to be a little bonk bonk on the head story-wise with its messaging. Um, and I needed one of the other white troopers to basically take the gun out of Lasky's hand and say, "What are you doing, bro?" No. But they're all like him. They're all just a bunch of assholes. So, you know what? Without that, I mean, the message still comes across, but I would have liked to have seen something like that as like, this is kind of the way, this is what we need to repair, at least in this country, from situations like this being the norm. This is how we start to fix it. We start to rethink our ways, we start to rethink our actions, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, and I feel like in the States, nobody is going to ask an officer for directions anymore. That's another.
Probably not.
That's a difference
No.
here. Like I wouldn't, but I feel most Japanese people would have no problem asking a police officer for directions if they had the
But
urge.
aren't we all
It's
using GPS?
well, we're doing that too. Well, hey, Japan is the weird mix of new and old. There's some people very stuck to old ways.
Yeah?
A fax came through at the office yesterday.
Oh, wow.
They still fax each other.
Wow.
They're just now trying to like digitalize more of the government stuff. So yeah, this was 10 years ago now. But I had a student. She was a pharmacist, and she was legally required in 2015 to continue keeping her records on the 3.5 inch floppy disks. In 2015,
No.
it was legally required that you keep the pharmaceutical records on those disks.
Oh my
That
God,
might
so
not be
many
the case 10
discs.
years later, but 2015 is wildly late for that.
Truly, I hope that's no longer the case.
I mean, where do you get a computer that reads those anymore,
Right, where do you get the discs? They only hold like 1 point something megabytes per disc. That's a file if you're lucky.
Well, I think it's just like, basically like this person ha took
Plain
this medicine,
text.
so plain
Still,
text, but yeah, still.
still
Um,
insane.
so yeah, this episode just makes it very clear who deserves what, which is that a failing? This question can be real fun when we have to talk about if they deserve it or not, and this one just, I feel like it doesn't have that conversation.
Yeah, it does avoid it. You're right.
I mean, not even that it
But you know
avoids it.
what?
It paints everyone so strongly because, like I said, Nina makes every correct decision, even if the outcome is bad. Lasky is just he is that, unstoppable or almost unstoppable force in every situation, right? Dorian's like the
True.
nicest kid on the planet. So,
Right. He is the golden child. He has done everything right. His mama raised him well, and he needs to go to college and make amazing films and change the world. Yeah.
so it is how hard you press the button, right? It's like, well, these mom and child are like, they don't do anything wrong. Lasky doesn't do anything right?
So are you saying it's a little imbalanced?
In terms of this question, I've been waxing rhapsodic about this episode. I really do like it a lot, but it is very kind of like uh it's kind of a binary situation.
Maybe a little too basic, but I feel like the spelling it out of it all is intentional.
Right. Well, As you've talked to my one of my Luke, one of the my podcast co-hosts, and he has made the note. Sometimes it's not a problem to press that button as hard as you can. You know, sometimes you need to press the button as hard as you can.
Sometimes you do to get your point across, and I think this episode is definitely trying to illustrate for people who may not understand what being Black in America is like to give you the full on experience in 45 minutes, which is a really difficult thing to do. So you've got to be straightforward about it.
Yeah, that is why the last scene especially is like that's the scene where I you know, people like us are like, oh wait, now I kind of get it. You know, like I felt
Right.
like
it's
that's why
not
it's
something
so
we can
interesting.
experience firsthand.
That's why I was
So
fascinated by your note. I was like, oh, how did that turn the key for you exactly? Obviously, with a strong response, which was like great, but I was like, oh, what exactly does that mean?
it means that depending on who you are and where you are in the United States of America, you are going to be more subject to possibly things like this simply by being who you are and existing, whereas other folks, not so much.
In the last scene, once that camcorder is broken, the Twilight Zone is gone. That's not the Twilight Zone last scene, you know? The Twilight Zone
Right.
dispels at that
Yeah.
point.
I wanted to ask you, how did you feel about the camcorder breaking?
Uh, of course. I mean, those things you drop it once, it breaks.
All those parts, man. I figured that was something that had to happen. I figured the camcorder was not long for the episode.
Chekhov's camcorder.
You had to completely break. Well, I can't say that. I cannot. I almost said completely break the cycle. It broke that cycle, but it does not break the cycle of racial violence
Yeah.
because of the
Although,
siren.
and it is though, kids will break your stuff. Uh,
That too, and that is a constant in the universe. I knew, like, I didn't know if she was going to, if the kid was going to hit rewind and totally mess something up, or if it was going to break. But I knew it
I
had to be one of the two.
I think they chose the much better option. Like I said, I think it's, I will say the end of this episode is probably, I'm going to call it one of the most effective endings of a Twilight Zone, just including the original series. Have not watched the
Wow.
Whitaker one yet, but yeah, I just felt it was a super effective ending, even if maybe they were pressing buttons hard through the episode. But that's the hardest press, and I'm like, ooh, that's an effective one.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It got me.
Let's throw this one on the tripometer. Zero is not trippy. Five is extremely trippy. Where do you want to go for this one?
Pretty low on the trippiness scale. I mean, it's a magical camcorder. It's not, I don't know. Trippy is not the word. This episode is much more about like the messages it's trying to say, not so much going for a trippy concept necessarily. Yes, it has it, but it feels almost secondary to the rest of the story. So I'm going to go for a one, really low.
Oh, okay. I love that because I was thinking pretty high.
Oh,
It's
interesting. Well,
that
okay. You know what? If I were Nina, I would be thinking this is pretty trippy, but just as a casual viewer, nah.
like I said though, I have a very soft spot for weird high concept sci-fi, and this presses it very well. So that's a button that I was welcome to press,
Okay.
and I was actually sitting here thinking, well, it's not a five. Well, I'll give it a 4.5. I'm going pretty high because it's just hitting my sci-fi sweet spot. That's what this episode does that for me.
All right, cool. I love that we have complete opposite opinions on this.
No, I do too, because yeah, when you're just, well, yeah, okay, I agree with you, seems about right, and there's nothing to talk about. But here it is
Right.
interesting, like
No.
what is weird for different people is different. So because
Yeah.
one of the reasons I didn't want to go five was like, well, visually nothing in this is that weird.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely
I
missing.
mean, there's like a little effect when the rewinds happen, but that's there's nothing visually weird in this episode. But
Nah.
yeah. I guess just the way it goes about making its message plus this concept and it does hit my buttons. So,
Oh, cool.
um, anything else you want to throw out on this? Because I did kind of like I said, I was afraid I realized I was about to say something where we were going to talk about Voyager for 10 minutes. Like, oh, I guess I should go to the questions instead.
Let's see here. I think we got through a lot of what I wanted to say about this episode. Um, Now, overall, I just think it's a pretty solid episode of television. You don't even have to be a fan of the Twilight Zone or what have you. If you just want to sit down and watch a powerful story, this is it. This is great.
Yes. So, of the ones I've seen of the Jordan Peele ones, and another broken record thing, Jordan Peele is kind of the figurehead more than the showrunner in here. Just if
Mm,
anyone's curious, because Rod Serling was definitely doing it. Jordan Peele was probably busy working on movies while he was doing this as well. So,
very true. Yes, he was.
and we will cover the movies at the end of this, where he's definitely in the driver's seat. So,
Oh, cool, cool.
but yeah. I forgot where I was going with that sentence. So I guess we kind of did your plugs up front, but throw out the name of the Beavis and Butthead podcast one more time just because I cannot remember it specifically. So maybe the listener doesn't either.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's been how long now we've been talking? Go to tpforyourearholes.com. That's where you can find our podcast, TP for Your Earholes. We're also available on all the podcast platforms. You can go on YouTube and listen to it as well. And we've got probably more interaction there than anywhere else right now. So that is, I guess, the hot place to do it. And if you love Beavis and Butthead, please give us a listen. We've been fans since my husband and I were adolescents, and it's fun that new stuff is coming out still. And we are talking about that as well.
And if you need a transition from here to there, go to the Films and Filth podcast. Go way back, maybe 3 years, and the two of us and Luke, who I mentioned earlier, are talking about the doing the universe. So start
The
there, and
whole
then
universe.
the whole universe. Yes. Uh, okay. I guess I'm gonna rewind this episode and we'll do it again. And I'll try not to say all the stupid things I said.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, I'll hit a stop on the record. Thank you for listening, Patreonos, if that's what we call you.